Yeah, and it is 12 o'clock. It's time for today's edition of Life Writing Live, the formerly Fire Dance. So just kind of streamlining things where we're trying to make everything more congruent, easier to see. So this is and eventually, this might not even be on Zoom. We might do this over at the new space, but all of you will be getting notifications of how to do that. It's just trying to find ways to serve the community more. So my name is Stephen Barnes, and I'm a writer and teacher, and, well, more importantly than that, husband and father, and martial artist, and the creator of the life writing and fire dance and so forth technologies, which are just tools that I put together to try to accomplish something that everybody around me told me no one had ever done and that I couldn't do. So it was all a matter of, how do I do this? How do I survive and accomplish these things? And so everything that I'm teaching you are things that I use in my own life and things that I teach my children, especially my son Jason. The technology really became more mature after my daughter moved out of the house, but I gave her the pieces of it. She went to one of the original life writing workshops way back in the day. That was a long time ago. Jeez, that was a long time ago. Time just travels so fast, and at the same time, it moves so slowly. It's like
Sometimes
both at
it
the
sure
same
does.
time.
When you're
And
waiting for something.
that's right. So I would like to introduce my co-host and the lovely and amazingly talented Tanana Reeve Dew.
I did not mean to interrupt, but hello. And oh, let me take these off. I'm not even using them. Good morning, everybody. And good to see people here. I just put a little note in chat. Some of you are already there because I recognize your names. But if you have not heard that we have a new social media community platform called Circle that looks, smells, and acts just like the social media platforms you're used to, except you can joy scroll instead of doom scroll. Check it out at www.lifewrite.com. We already have more than 130 members over there, growing, sharing, giving each other advice. It's like this, but ongoing. And there's an app for the phone, which is so cool because honestly, it's just like the other bigger apps without the bad actors.
And my philosophy is that the general presentation is on getting your life together, is on dealing with stress, achieving success, finding love, self-healing, and so forth. That's free. The way we're going to monetize this is that we'll also offer classes in writing, especially in science fiction and fantasy writing. So if you're interested in writing in general, the fact is that the same tools that you need to be a writer, you really just need to be an awake, aware human being. Most of it is just, success principles. But if you want specific teachings on writing, that is also going to be available. But no purchase is necessary of
Yeah,
anything
this is
is
a free.
necessary
If
to be
I could
part.
just join in,
Yeah, please.
I guess outright interrupt.
How dare you?
The term life writing is confusing for some people because it sounds like it's just for writers. And I think, as many of you here know, this is not just for writers. This is a community that is for people who are trying to craft a better life, as in writing the story of your life. So life writing is both for writers. I mean, obviously, we're writers. We love writers. That's our wheelhouse. But it's also the programs we use to get through, well, just get through, period,
Yeah, I
and
think
to
that
thrive.
the specific connection is to live your life as if you are the hero of a story that you are writing. And you think about, well, at the end of the story, the hero gets everything that they desire. What would you have them do next? So if it's interesting that perspective triggers the storytelling and story consuming part of our brains. We've seen millions of stories. You know how stories go. You know the amount of work it takes to succeed. Unfortunately, quite often we look at the problems in our lives and we're locked up in the moment and we don't see an answer. I just had an instance where somebody did not see an answer, so they acted as if the problem didn't exist because they couldn't see an answer to it. So it's like, oh, I'm not even going to deal with that information. Looking at your life as a story you're writing, and you take a look back at what you've achieved to get to this point in your life, you will see that there are countless times when you felt that there was no answer, that it turned out there was. Countless times when you felt like you could not accomplish something, and it turned out you could. So I don't know how to think negatively anymore because I've just program myself that way. I'm inviting you to start your days with the assumption that it's going to be possible to improve by just 1% today. Just 1%. You just need to find one little thing to change in terms of, and we're going to go over this stuff later. But before I go any deeper into it, I'd like everybody to unmute yourselves and say hello and just, give high fives to the people on either side and just kind of make some noise because getting the energy, you need energy to succeed. You
Hello,
need energy.
everybody.
Everybody,
Absolutely.
hello.
That's
Nice
right.
to see everybody.
Go.
One,
If I'm
two.
one of the people.
Yeah, that's right. Just
Speaking of
cyber hugs,
energy,
cyber hugs, and over in
cyber
chat,
hugs.
say
Speaking of
hi and
energy,
share love and get the energy up. The reason you can't teach an old dog new tricks is because the old dog is tired. You get the old dog's energy up, and
the old dog
suddenly you
wants
can
a
learn
treat.
tricks again. So we're talking about changing some of the ways that we are, so that we can live the lives that make us happy, we can take care of our families, and we can take care of our communities. And in a time of stress like this is critical. See, was this something you were going to say?
Is this a good time for us to talk about what's going on
Absolutely.
by any chance? Okay. If you listen to our podcast, you know that's our what's going on. And since this is now Lifewriting Live, we're pretending this is an extension of the podcast. So you're our guest this week on the podcast. But really quickly, what is going on? I got some incredible news this week. I'm still kind of pinching myself over it. I'm still wondering if the numbers are wrong, but not only has my latest novel, The Reformatory, earned out, but I'm actually getting royalty checks in record time. And, I'm just grateful, absolutely grateful. I'm not used to that. Usually you get the
Well,
advance, you send the book out, and you never get anything else, at least in my experience. So,
and this is important. As we've said to you
oh, it
guys,
is.
we've tried to be very honest about where we are. We've been very successful in our careers compared to most artists, most writers. We've been very successful in our lives compared to the average American in many ways, but we've not always necessarily managed our money as well as we could. So,
And
when you have
in
two artists,
fairness, we get
in
paid
fairness,
periodically. Like most traditional jobs, you get a paycheck. Like when I worked for the Miami Herald in journalism, we got paid every week. Most jobs are every 2 weeks. Academia, once a month. Shout out to anyone who's ever worked for a college or university. That's a long wait between checks. It's even worse in publishing. It's like you get that first advance, you get a little when you turn it in, you get a little when they publish it. Like I said, usually you don't see anything else. But even if you do, it only comes twice a year. Twice a year, you get royalty checks. So it's very difficult to plan. That's why, honestly, we incorporated in 2023. We incorporated as Dark Dream Productions. We're an S Corp. We pay ourselves a payroll. Some weeks that payroll is zero, because you just don't want to draw from the account, and it. So we're we make the money, but part of what we talk about here is also helping all of us learn how to better manage it, and how to have fewer times in between where you're just waiting. That waiting is the killer. I hate waiting, especially
well, you
waiting for a
understand
check.
when one of the things that's understood when the food supply is uneven, is you can't rely on it. People do binge eating because you just never know when the next meal is going to come. The same psychological thing can happen with money. When you can make a lot of money every year, and if you got it every week or every other week, you could budget and you'd know exactly what there was coming in. You know exactly what to spend, exactly what to do. When it comes in irregularly, it comes in these big lumps. And psychologically, you can look at that and think, whoopee, I'm rich. But unless you have a system set up to slap you upside the head and remind you, no, this has got to last until that next money comes in, and you don't even know when that's going to be. It's very, very difficult. And I am so proud of us over the last couple of years, being a couple of artists, that we finally are starting to play with this in a more reasonable way. And one of the reasons why this is so critical is that I may have clearly defined a life work for myself. Aside from my own personal goals, the Dalai Lama said that the meaning of life is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. Okay, what service do I want to give the world? Because I've escaped suffering. I don't dwell on the past, and I don't fear the future most of the time. I know how to escape suffering. I don't always do the things I need to do, but I know how to get there. I know how to get there through the breathing. But I feel that I would like to help 100. The biggest gap, the biggest measurable problem for Black America is income, is inherited wealth, net worth. I would like to close that wealth gap for 100,000 Black families. And I think I found a strategy. I may change my mind next week, but I think I figured out a way to do it. And what I need is $1 million in discretionary income to implement this strategy. So I have just removed any justification from my mind to hold me back. The thing is, well, I'm not worth it. What right do you have to have goals that big? I have the right to have those goals because I intend to do something with it. There's a very specific thing I'm trying to accomplish. So you're going to see some changes in the way that I operate. I mean, every time you upgrade yourself, there should be changes in the way you talk, the way you think, the way you see the world. I know that I'm going to do that. So there was a very specific thing that I wanted to talk about today, but because this week was so mind-blowing, where we were on fumes, just when, okay, where is this going to come from? Where is this going to come from? We have to wait for this to happen. And then all of a sudden, we were back at the position of bountiful. And it's like, wow. And I remember clearly that before we got this piece of news, I'm dealing with stress. I'm thinking very carefully, okay, I need to get my work done. I need to take care of my family. I need to take care of my health. I need to keep my mood in a positive space. I need to get all these things done. And it was application of the magic formula, the attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is such an important part of that practice, because how are you going to have faith that anything good can happen tomorrow if you don't have gratitude about what you've already got? So we're going to go over, and one of the things that Tananarive has a part of her personality that she calls obsesso. It's like, tell us a little bit about obsesso, when obsesso kicks in, sweetheart.
Um, where you wake up first thing in the morning thinking about it, you go to bed at night thinking about it. When we've had to move back, because it's such a terrible task, once you can move that needle to, okay, I'm invested, let's do this, then it's looking at Zillow, like getting the alerts constantly, checking out everyone, keeping a list, and then the same thing works with me. It's a kind of a flow state for tasks, I guess, because it's the same state I recognize when I'm writing. I mean, Obsesso is the one who will read all these biographies and all these articles about the shooting of Gone with the Wind so I can write one scene, like, but just downloading as much as I can so I can find one detail that feels so real that the reader will be convinced, oh, I'm really here. I'm really here in 1939 on the set of this movie. Or should I say, is it 38? Anyway, Obsessa would have known that a couple days ago. But yeah, it's when I need to do the heavy lifting, Obsesso is the part of my personality that, it's like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves and get this done.
I think that once you have identified that hard charging, high achieving state where you're not having to force yourself to do things, but the things are naturally pulling you towards them, that state is what will make you successful in anything. So what you need to learn how to do is, how do you trigger that state where everything is just happening? So if you can look back in your life at the times when you didn't need any discipline, you woke up thinking about it, you went to bed thinking about it, you were doing it all day long, you were noticing things that would help you. Some part of you recognizes that state. So if you could ask yourself, what triggers it? I say that it's, you're in alignment with your values. You're often doing things for your family. It connects to your heart, it connects to the people that you love. It might be about service. You found a way to have fun with it. You are looking forward to the results. You believe you can and should do it, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever it is that you need to enter that state, look back over your life. Find the times that you just worked your butt off, where you went through pain, you went through this, you went through that, and you were willing to accept anything because this is who you are. This is what you're going to do. If you can recognize that, then you can ask yourself questions like, what were you saying to yourself? What did it feel like? What was your posture? How were you breathing? What was your facial expression? It's the answer is going to be somewhere in what you're focused on, the way you're using your body, and the words you say to yourself. So observing Tananarive doing that and recognizing just how massive it was and seeing just what a high achieving person she is, one of the things I did was I started looking into my own life and asking myself, where do those things happen? And one of the ways that happens is my constant, and it would be neurotic, except people consider it to be healthy, uh, examination of the question, what does it take to succeed? I have journals. I have tons of journals, dozens and dozens of journals, probably over 100, over each of which is filled with my plans for stories, for family, for earning, for exercising. I especially do that. I'm constantly taking apart and putting back together my exercise plan, constantly. And there's a thing in the back of my mind that's always this, you're just about to find the perfect program. I know that's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. But I might be able to find a really good one for today. And then tomorrow I'll be right back to, oh, well, I can change this and that will make it the perfect program. This is just a game I play with myself. I know that. But the same thing is true in terms of trying to figure out the best way to write. What set of tools and timings and so forth. And also how to be the best father I can be. How to be the best husband I can be. The best person I can be. Constant. I am obsessed with that stuff. So one of the things I wanted to do today, before I get to that question, the magic formula and why in the world does it work as well as it does? I'm going to introduce it and talk about that. And let me get this up on the screen. Okay, there is that. And now I need to share. And there is. I'm continuing to share. Okay. So what we have here is a series of basic pieces that relate to this process, relate to what it is that I'm trying to teach. So the first one is just the concept of life writing. It's viewing your life as a story that you're writing. And the hero's journey, which is Joseph Campbell's map, you're confronted with a challenge, you reject the challenge due to fear, you accept it, you go on the road of trials, you meet allies and powers, and you gain powers. You have your confrontation with evil in which you're defeated. You take the leap of faith, then you renew the challenge, return to the challenge, and this time you win, and the last step is a student becomes a teacher. That's just a simplification of what Campbell was saying, but I believe that it is the sum total of the advice from all the elders, all the village elders in the world, telling the young people listening to the stories, this is what your life is going to be. So part of it is that map of, oh, this is what's going to happen as you move towards your goals. You're going to be afraid. You're going to have to take a lot of effort. You're going to need new tools. You're going to fail. How are you going to deal with that? The way out of failure is the leap of faith. I have to believe in myself, or I have to believe in my companions, or I have to believe in God or a higher power or nature, however you want to put it. This is critical, and this was where the entire life writing system started, with looking at the hero's journey. But it is perspective. It's not specific. It's a tool for gaining perspective. The next thing is the 5-minute miracle. 5 mm. That is 60 seconds of deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing at the top of the hour, at least 5 times a day. And this transforms your physiology. If you breathe as if you are calm, your hindbrain will believe it. So even right now, this time of stress, if you think, well, instead of doom scrolling, you're filled with, oh my God, all is lost, this, that, and the other. Calm yourself. 60 seconds of breathing 5 times a day will create little moments, little oases of calm in which you can look around and see what options there are for action. The third step is the morning ritual once you have your stress under control. And once again, these are basic pieces that I keep talking about over and over and over again. So trying to put them, in what order should these things be? That's difficult. That changes, but it's critical because these are the things I'm trying to give my son as he is preparing himself to go out into life. The morning ritual is just 10 to 15 minutes every morning where you are setting yourself up for the day by exercising. Maybe you're taking a walk or doing something, dancing, yoga. I use Tai Chi. I use crawling. Crawling is great stuff. Go to YouTube and look up leopard crawl, and you will see a complete exercise system that has tremendous benefits and might end up being one of the official exercise systems that we use here. But by doing that at the same time that you chant affirmations, an affirmation is like every day in every way I'm getting better and better. If you were crawling for 10 minutes, saying that, first of all, crawling for 10 minutes is extreme amount of work. I mean, you are in gnarly shape. If you can crawl for 10 minutes with your knees off the ground, holy crap. So walking, dancing, you want something that you can do continuously. If you're chanting an affirmation, you're anchoring that into your neurology in a deeper way. And one of the things that's really interesting is that you'll hear the voice in your brain. If you say every day and every way I'm getting better and better, there'll be a voice in your brain saying, this is nonsense. This is crap. Why are you doing this? And here's the trick. Let's say that you're walking every morning. And one of your goals was to walk every morning. And while you're doing it, you're chanting every day and every way I'm getting better and better. That voice says, no, you're not. That's crap. That's a lie. But the fact is, you are getting better and better because you are keeping your word about walking. If you set this up right, you will get, for one of the first times in your life, you will have an experience. The voices in your head are not you. They are a reification of the voices of other people that you have heard over the course of your life, and they will often lie to you. And now we get to the magic formula, and we'll talk more about this in just a minute, but I think this is as far as I want to go with this part of it. The magic formula is it's a way to create luck in your life, and it's also a way to see what's missing in your activities. I'm gonna look at you directly when I say this. The magic formula is 5 pieces. MAGIC. It's an acronym. M is for map or model or mentor. If you have a goal, the first thing you need to do after you've clarified that goal is to find someone who's already accomplished it. Find someone who has accomplished your goal starting from where you are with the resources you currently have. Extract by studying them what their behaviors, their strategies, and their emotions are. That's their recipe for baking that bread. Or making that bread. Yeah, that'll work. To the degree that you can copy their recipe and the things they did in a single day or a few weeks, you can learn how to do something that somebody else took years to learn how to do. So you start with that map. This is the only reason why the human race has progressed, by the way. As individuals, human beings aren't that much smarter than chimpanzees. Our advantage is our ability to pass information from one person to another and one generation to another. We are the creatures with more information in our brains than in our genes. We are the creatures that from generation to generation have found ways to not lose what one generation has learned. They can pass some of it on. And of course, this is one of the great values of writing and reading. You get to read of the lives of people who are now gone, so you don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. So map, model, mentor. That's the M, critical. The A in magic is action. You have to take massive action towards your goal. Success has a bias to action. It's a matter of what are you doing. In one sense, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. So in terms of being a writer, for instance, the life writing plan says that you write a sentence a day. Okay, that's how you start. You commit to writing at least one sentence every day. You write 1 to 4 short stories per month. Okay, you polish and submit at least one story per month. That's the action that you have to do. But there are other action steps too. See, the next one is to, you know what? No, the next one is an inaction thought. You don't rewrite that story anymore. Once you've submitted it, once it's finished, you've workshopped it, you sent it out. Remember, you need to do that with at least one story every month. You don't rewrite it unless an editor asks you to. If you send that story out and an editor says, if you change such and such, I'd like to look at this again, do it. But otherwise, you will learn more by going on to your next story than you will by rewriting the last one. The fifth step is you have to read 10 times as much as you write. And the last step is repeat this process 100 times. Action is what is necessary. This will go back to the magic formula after we finish looking at these things. The G in the magic formula is gratitude. As I already said, if you're not grateful for the blessings you already have, why should you have any faith that tomorrow can be any better? Faith is your way through the dark night of the soul. Okay, all the world's cultures, all the world's storytelling suggests this. And the way to create faith is by being grateful for what you already have. It can be so frustrating because if you're stuck in a bad situation, your way out is to be grateful that you're there. I hate how that sounds sometimes, but if you can't find that's the spark that you use to get your fire going. Find something to be grateful for. So every morning when I'm doing my morning ritual, I will chant aloud, I'm so grateful for a strong, healthy body. I'm so grateful for a strong, healthy mind. I'm so grateful for the people who love me and trust me. My son Jason, my daughter Nikki, my beautiful, brilliant wife Tananarive. And I let myself feel the emotions of that gratitude. I literally flood myself with gratitude every single day. The I in magic is intention, which is the same thing as goal. Okay, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Because if you can create a clear vision of what you want to accomplish, the book you want to write, the career you want to build, the marriage you'd like to improve or establish, the body that you'd like, and you clearly understand what it is, where it is that you're heading, you then get to go back to find someone who's accomplished it, see what they did, map out a path between where you are and where you want to be, and divide that path into bite-sized chunks. Now, you do have to ask yourself some important questions, but those questions come next. The C is core, character. The things you want to accomplish have to be in alignment with your being, your soul. You can't do something good by doing bad. You can't aim at that. Your actions have to be in contact with who you are and also your sense of nature. Tananari, if you were leaning forward.
I was about to add my spotlight. I would like to address any of the skeptics who are present for whom the term magic does not land for you because it sounds like an overpromise. And I know you're out there. Because I also have had that reaction to I mean, very specifically, let me just talk about how the magic formula works in our lives. One of the things we thought about with the incoming administration, with all the economic uncertainty, with everything happening in Hollywood, we had some good years in Hollywood. We were in a writer's room in 2023, was it? Or 2024? Anyway, we were in a writer's room. We were hired to write a pilot script for the African Immortals series that we've been pitching forever for My Soul to Keep. There were a lot of great things happening, even while unfortunately a lot of bad things were happening in the world, like 2017, 18, 19, 20. And we decided that we don't want to rely on income from Hollywood. As an artist, I don't even want to rely on income from my books. Even what I just said about those royalties, it makes me nervous as someone who used to have a job to rely on the arts for income. So we have sort of informally practiced how can we reach and serve more people through our writing courses and through creating community that would also help while we teach and while we share, help us increase our income as well, here and there. So we're not relying entirely on the arts. And I have to tell you, in the past couple months when we've been doing that, Hollywood is coming at us fast and furious. I don't mean like they're dumping dump trucks of money, but like projects that have been lying without any updates for literally months. All of a sudden are heating up. Two or three of them, frankly. And we don't know the outcome. And again, I don't keep my eye. It's like Jordan Peele's movie Nope, if you've seen it. We think that the part of the point of that movie was that you don't stare at the success up in the sky. It's like pie in the sky, literally, to try to stare up at that success in Hollywood. Focus on the work. Focus on the work. And then the gifts will come, and maybe it won't spit pennies that kill you. Maybe the pennies will actually gather and grow. So that's what we do. We focus on the work, not going straight at Hollywood. We focus on who are we? What are our values? How can we create this community that Steve talked about? Stay focused on that. Stay focused on our authenticity, right? What's in our hearts, not what we think will sell. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And sure enough, I have to chuckle because while I kind of give it Steve the side eye sometimes for him characterizing the work we do on ourselves and our community as opening the door to Hollywood, it's like that's ridiculous on one level, but it keeps happening. And I think part of it is just, we were talking about this morning. Part of it is just that when you occupy yourself with living within your authentic experience, like the work, like you know what you want and you have the passion, even if it's indirect, it makes you feel more energetic. It makes you feel less depressed because there's nothing that will depress you faster than waiting. And let me tell you, in Hollywood, waiting is the one of the biggest killers there is. They don't call it development hell for nothing. It takes years to get something on the air, if it ever gets on the air, which
So,
most
so
things don't.
okay, so let me go deeper into this.
Yeah.
What are we doing right now to not wait for Hollywood? I mean, it's called a Black Widow, honey.
Oh, good point. Steve wrote and I'm directing our first narrative audio podcast, a series we just did a pilot for called The Walker. And that came because we both love audio storytelling. Steve grew up on it. I kind of grew up on it. There were a lot of retirees in Miami Beach where I grew up. So I grew up listening to Fibber McGee and Molly and all those old radio shows. And we've created our own kind of suspense style, the Whistler style audio. The male lead is actually Jeff Lindsay, who wrote the Dexter series, who's also an actor. And oh my God, he's so good. And my stepdaughter, his daughter Nikki, is the female lead, and Jason's in it. And Steve does an incredible job as the narrator, the walker. So not only are we exploring our artistic side and just creating a family project where we can all work together and have fun, expanding our network by working with an audio producer who's teaching audio production at a deeper level than I've ever. I mean, there are so many fulfilling aspects to it, and we have no idea where it's going to land. Nobody said to us, do this and we'll put it on the air. We're going to put it on the air ourselves.
That's
We're
right.
gonna put
And
that on YouTube.
here's the prediction. Because we were not waiting for Hollywood, because we are doing something that is close to our hearts, that is also teaching, giving, our family and friends an opportunity to have fun and learn skills, and we're going to put it out for the community, something will happen. I don't know what it's going to be,
You
but
don't know. You just
as
do it.
the weeks pass, when that something happens, we will tell you, and hopefully that will help you see, oh, this is how magic works. Remember what Arthur C. Clarke said: any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I think that people have the wrong idea about what magic is because it's not something that you see in a fantasy movie. The fantasies were trying to help you understand how human energies work. So they create analogs and they exaggerate and they create images. But the truth at the core of it is that the world is more complicated than you can really wrap your mind around completely. Not everything is directly logical. What you have to do is set yourself up. One of the ways I put it is that some aspects of life, the mundane aspects, the survival aspects, are kind of like a dog. They will come when you call. You can actually work for that stuff. But the big success is more like a cat. Cats don't come when you call. They come when you're busy, and they'll come and sit in your lap and curl up on your keyboard. That's Hollywood.
Perfect example. I'm just trying to follow my morning ritual yesterday. I'm doing my walk. When I do my walk, I like to listen to Rachel Rogers, who has, strategies for getting past imposter syndrome, learning how to ask for what you're worth, strategizing on how to grow your business. That's not natural stuff to me. So I listen to that. I barely get started on my walk when my phone is ringing with this actor producer who is shopping a series that no one has ever shown any interest in since we published it back in 2010, 2011, the Tennyson Hardwick series, which is getting major meetings and all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I came in, I said to Steve, this manifesting is exhausting. I'm just trying to do my ritual and I have to bat these people off like flies. And
So
it's
let
and
me say,
everyone's results will be different. I'm not saying that literally if you do this, it'll be the same for you, but you don't know what you'll create for yourself while
so
you're living
if
within
you
your
don't count
authenticity.
on luck,
Right.
what happens is that the magic formula is set up so that if you don't have give yourself a score from 0 to 9 in each of these things. How much do you study your mentors? How much action are you taking? How much gratitude do you feel? How clear are your goals? And how much do you feel like your goals are in alignment with your true being and the way you believe nature operates? The ethical structure of the universe, however you want to put that. God, I don't care. Make sure you don't have a zero in any one of those categories because it's a multiplicative equation. If you have a zero in any one of them, it zeroes everything out. If you have at least a one in each category, I have a little bit of a mentor, a little bit of a map. I'm taking some action. I feel pretty grateful about what's going on in my life. I have kind of a misty view of the mountain I'm trying to climb. And yeah, it's in alignment with most of who I am. Just stay out of the zeros. If you have like a 1 to a 3 in each category, you're making progress. You're moving forward. You'll just notice that over time things are happening. You're probably moving forward at about 1% a week. Okay. If you're up around 4 or 5, you're starting 4, 5, 6. You're starting to get into the territory of 1% a day. You're starting to move more rapidly. You're studying mentors every day. You're taking a lot of action. You're feeling real gratitude, real positivity, which is hypnotic and attractive. Remember, you don't earn success. You attract it by the person you become. And the
And I
person you
like,
become. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Finish your thought and then I'll jump in on
No, no,
gratitude.
no. Please jump in.
Because I wanted to say something about gratitude. I think sometimes for a lot of people, especially right now, I mean, let's just be real, that can be the hardest piece. If you're not where you want to be and it feels like the world is burning, it can be very difficult to feel gratitude. So that's why we have to sort of have the mental and creative discipline to look at our lives with fresh eyes, right? I have a writing prompt up over on Circle that has to do with looking at your writing space through the eyes of someone who was just released from prison without any windows. And how does a place you take for granted that maybe you think is too cramped. You wish it was an office, you wish it was a cabin in the woods. But if you're forced to do this point of view exercise where you're seeing your faulty space through the eyes of someone who thinks it's a freaking paradise, it helps you get in touch with that gratitude piece. We talked about a flood. I lost this office to a flood for months. That last September, I just moved back in a few weeks ago. And I have been soaking in the gratitude that, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how good I had it when I wasn't working in an open hallway with people walking past me all the time and construction workers worrying their equipment all day. When it went silent again and I had my space again, I felt like that prisoner coming into this space with fresh eyes. And that's, remember in Breaking Bad, if you've watched it, every time someone was about to die out in the desert, they would focus on the one pretty flower that was growing in the sand. That's because in their last moment of life, they are searching for beauty. That is the note they want to leave this world on, not pain, not grief, but beauty. So we need to train ourselves while we're not shot in the desert where death is imminent, like today. We need to train ourselves to look for that flower, to look for those things that if we missed them, we would wonder, why did I take that for granted? Which, trust me, is so much. We don't have the capacity to even catalog it all, often until it's gone. So
You know,
as much
how
as we
often
can
do you
grab it,
look
we
back?
should.
How often do you look back at a picture of yourself in college or whatever, and you think, "Oh my God, I was gorgeous. Why couldn't I see it? Why couldn't I see how alive and gorgeous I was? Why is it that we're constantly comparing ourselves to things that we're not and beating the hell out of ourselves? Let's stop that. Let's be grateful for what we have right here, right now. If your body is beat up, for God's sake, it's a vehicle that has been carrying you for how many hundreds of thousands of miles? How many millions of miles has your body carried you? It's gonna be beat up, but you want to take care of it the best you can. Okay, I always want you to say what you want to say because
That
I
was it.
will
I'm
get
out.
back. That's fine. So we said if you have a zero in any of those five categories, you're cutting your own throat. Okay, you're feeling no gratitude. You don't know where you're going. You're not taking any action. Ugh. A little bit of action, and you can get to that 1% per week. 4, 5, 6 points, and you're getting up to that 1% per day. But you get over six, you get up around 7, 8. In other words, you are studying role models and maps for an hour a day. You're taking massive action. You are just, morning till night, you're just killing it. Your heart is filled with gratitude. You could just cry with how beautiful the world is, and you just want to share that with your neighbors and your family. You have crystal clear goals that are aligned with the deepest aspect of your being. This is what you were born to do. This is who you are. When you get up around 7, 8, 9, you will start noticing luck happening to you. It is the strangest thing. It's like the universe will begin to bend. Why exactly that happens, I don't know. But it does. People will call you out of nowhere and say, there's a check on the way for that money I borrowed back when I was in sixth grade. People will call up with job offers. Your stories will be getting accepted. Your bank will say they made a mistake in your favor. It is the strangest thing, but it happens. I invite you to discover for yourself. The more you doubt this, you're saying that's not science. I'm not saying it's literally magical. I'm saying that it seems to be. But if you're a scientist, then perform the experiment. And all you need to perform the experiment is handle those first things we talked about. Take the breath every hour, at least 5 times a day. Create a morning ritual where you are moving at the same time that you're chanting affirmations, flooding yourself with gratitude and envisioning your goals and the role models that can get you there. And you create your morning ritual using the principles of magic. You be sure that during your chanting, you are acknowledging your role models. You are implying the action you're going to take today. You're specifically tapping into your gratitude, your positive emotions. Your goals are crystal clear. I don't necessarily state my goals anymore because I have role models. So I have several role models for the martial arts. I have several role models for writing. I've got William Shakespeare and Octavia Butler sitting in my, in my role models thing, and in gratitude to Larry Niven and so forth and so on. And these are people who's are obsessed with their goals. They're obsessed with being this particular way in the world. So I don't have to think about my goals long term. I have to think about who is it that I need to be today and what is it that that person would do. All you have to do is just do that today. And then tomorrow, do it again. And eventually you look up and look back and say, oh my God, I've gotten a lot done. And constantly be asking the two questions most important in philosophy. Who am I and what is true? Who you are is critical to understand and to continue to deepen your knowledge of. What is true, the way the world works, is also critical. I offer you as a theory that if you have goals in all three arenas of your life, physical goals, emotional goals, and financial goals, the more accurate your map of understanding yourself and the world, the more certain your success is. Because if you understand what it takes to accomplish something, then you can look at yourself and say, am I willing to pay that price? Am I able to pay that price? And if you're accurate about whether or not you're really willing to do it and really capable of doing it, and you set out on there, then you'll get there if you are accurate about what the world was and who you are. To the degree that you keep missing your goals, either you don't understand yourself or you don't understand the world. So you constantly want to be exploring those things. And now the lecture part of this is over. And what I would really, really like is for you guys to ask any questions about anything that we've covered, how to apply any of these concepts to your life or what's going on in your life, positive, negative, how you've been using these principles, how we might be able to help you. And as always, it's a matter of volunteer or you will be voluntold. So I'm not seeing anybody raising their hands right now. So Adam, Potty, I'm not sure I've seen you before, friend. Unmute yourself.
There we are. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. The reason why I'm sounding is because I'm deaf, so yeah.
So I was
Well,
asking, is there anything we can do to help you? Is there anything you wanted to say?
uh, not particularly. I'm just very happy to be part of this lovely group today, and it's really a wonderful community that you have created here, and it's one of the things that we need more and more of, especially particularly with artistic circles, is community, because sometimes we get so caught up in some of the little things, and then before you know it, we're out each other's throats. So this kind of community is just it's just a
That
wonderful
never
thing.
happens here. And if you are more comfortable communicating in the chat, then you are welcome to communicate in the chat. We want this to be as easy for you as possible to look at how do I strengthen my body? How do I love myself and others more? And how do I make money? I think that if you can handle those three things, you're able to support your community with integrity and you will have resources to share. So please let us know what we can do to help you with any of these things, okay?
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much. I
You
appreciate it.
betcha. Okay. Alexander,
Hey,
did you?
I know I took up a little bit of time last week. I didn't mean to, but since I've talked to you last, I've been working on some stuff and things. And my question is, how do you deal with sabotage when it happens, either from yourself or with somebody that's in your group that you're working with?
You have to trigger your warrior drive, the part of you that's willing to die to accomplish what you're trying to do. The part of you that feels like this is who you are. This is absolutely who you are. And for various reasons, I think that this is something that's going to be very good for you. I would love to see you practicing a martial art, Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something, or going to a boxing gym. Hit things, man. Hit things. Smash things. Feel that power. And that power exists in an ethical way to protect the things that you love. Strength exists to protect softness. So you're protecting your artistic self. Like I said, I've already seen your genius. So you simply are not accessing your genius in some way. It's there. So sabotaging yourself, what that's going to mean is you don't totally believe that you deserve this. Others sabotage you when your success threatens them. Maybe they're afraid that you'll get too powerful and you'll leave them. Maybe they're afraid that if you succeed, it will mean that they need to step up their game. Maybe they're just vicious. And so you have to ask yourself, why do you keep attracting people like that into your life? Why do you allow yourself to be satisfied with having people in your life who do not serve you? Get them out of your circle. Your circle, if you have to contract your circle just down to yourself, your heart, when you sit alone in your room, you should know that you are willing to fight to the death for what you got and who you are. And you don't accept anybody else in that circle unless you know that standing back to back with them, you would increase your chance of surviving an alley fight called life. Okay? And I mean it. So many people have huge open hearts, but they don't defend themselves. They don't know how to bare their teeth. Okay? I need you to find the part of you that is vicious. The part of you that would come to life if a helpless child in your care were under threat. That part that does not worry about anything except doing what is honorable and right at any cost. The warrior attitude is not, I've got all these skills and I've trained so much and I've got all these belts. It's simpler than that. It's, I'm ready to die and I'm ready to take you with me. And you have that. If you're willing to die before you will abandon the creative child that you've lost a little touch with, okay? So all you have to do is admit that, and you will start gathering the tools. Remember, once that's your goal, apply the magic formula. Who has gotten through the things that you're trying to get through? What actions do you need to take? Flood yourself with gratitude, if for nothing else. Our friendship, Alexander, we've known each other a long time now, and I am absolutely willing to help you. I believe in you. Okay? So you can start with that gratitude in terms of the outside world, and then just be gratitude that no matter what mistakes you've made, you are still worthy, you are still talented. You're a gorgeous guy. You're handling that well. You need to own your skill, your talent, your gifts, and all the time you put into developing them. You need to own that shit. Okay? So that's what you have to do. You have to get in touch with the part of you that defends you and stop worrying about what people think about you and start worrying more about who are you and are you being true to who you really are. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Hey, honey, you have 3 hands up.
Yes, I do. I'm going to Danian right now.
Okay.
Hey, how are you, Steve?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I just had a question, because I've seen you talk about sort of like the 80-20 thing, and like for me, I feel like I have great discipline, but I think an issue that I have is that when things start manifesting, when things start going well, when I see the finish line, I start to slack off.
Yes.
And so I feel
So
like
let me ask you a question. let's drill down right there.
Okay.
If you had to answer the question, why do you slack off when things start going well, what would your answer be? Why do you do that?
I think because when things start going well, I think that I start taking the boons, the resources from it, and I start to indulge in it too much.
Oh, you're
And it
eating your
takes
seed
me
corn.
away from what I'm supposed to do. And
You're eating your
I've been doing that
seeds.
for a while.
Okay, do you follow boxing? You like boxing?
Yeah, but I don't really not too much, but I do like it. Yeah,
Okay, so two men are fighting.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of them gets in a good strong punch. The other guy staggers back against the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that threw the punch, what does he do? Does he back off and watch, or does he what?
No,
What does he
no.
do?
It goes forward. Goes forward.
That's right. That's right. So when things are starting to go good, that's the time to double down.
Yeah.
You know, you need to model champions. You know, that the magic formula here is you need to have a model like this. Who do you admire? Who is capable? That's right, Adam. Go for the knockout punch. Okay. Look for someone who's capable, who is a strong finisher. The you know the track star who runs faster when he approaches the line. The boxer, Sugar Ray Leonard. Man, what a bloody that man had a bloodthirsty instinct like crazy. If he hurt you, he went all out. If you know that when things are going well, you start to slack off, then write that down. And you have now identified something which, if you solve that, would be a big boon for you. There is great power in specificity. It's great power in saying you have identified something that's going to make a difference, that when you start getting positive results, you slack off on action in terms of the magic formula. So what you want is when you start getting positive results, you triple the effort.
Yes. Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
So, and then, then all you have to do is figure out, how do I do that? But the what comes first. I want to achieve my goals. Do you know why you want to achieve your goals? Okay, it's because I can help my family, because I can do this, because I can do that. Or in this specific instance, the goal is to double down once you get momentum, you really double down. Why? So that you can succeed and go on to the next level. The how then comes, how do I do that? I would suggest studying people who are strong finishers. What do they think about it? And how does that contrast with what you were taught?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like for you to do is to research that and come back here and tell us what you learned. Okay.
I will. Yeah.
Thank you
definitely.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Excellent. Okay, Jules.
Hello, how are y'all today?
I'm fine. Where did Jules go? How come we not?
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't see. I was
Tananari,
like,
did you find her?
there we
and
go.
pin
I
her,
got
please?
her. I got her.
I'm around here somewhere. Hi.
Yeah,
There we
there you
go.
Oh, whoops.
are.
My
How
hair is
are
all
you?
messed up. I have to move that, sorry.
You look fine to me, sweetheart. How can we
All
help
right.
you?
Hi. Actually, it's more of a gratitude for y'all. I wanted to thank you for one, having all of this, everything that you guys do. But I wanted to let you know and let the group know that I actually made my first submission this week. Not huge, it's huge for me because I've written for a long time. I've performed my work live or in person in front of Zoom and things like that, but I've never submitted anything anywhere. And when I have, it's always been rejected. So I submitted to a publication and a retreat that's out of Austin, Texas, and they were looking for people, Black women, in fact, to come to Texas for a week and write a memoir.
Ooh,
That sounds
So
fantastic.
nice.
So I'm very excited about that. And I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks ago, I was here talking about my horror story. And I took your guys' advice and am working on my pages to make it into a short story, as opposed to just being like, okay, you need to do a whole novel right now. So I'm taking it in smaller bits. And I wanted to thank you both for explaining that, putting that out there, and putting that in my head so that I don't necessarily have to go all over everywhere to just get this little thing done. Thank y'all.
That is so
Tananarive,
great. All of that,
jump
all
in,
of what you
sweetheart. I
just
know you've
said.
got something to say.
No, I'm excited about the submission because that is such a huge step. I was halfway through writing My Soul to Keep, keeping up a disciplined practice, feeling like I was doing everything right. But at the same time, I was having anxiety attacks and I didn't understand what was wrong. And I realized it was because my first book, The Between, was sitting in a drawer.
Mm,
I had sent it like two places. It was rejected. I was like, I guess I'm not ready. Put it in a drawer, started my next one. I knew better.
mhm,
Submission is hard.
mhm.
And it's a huge first step. And embracing the short story form, it's going to change your life. Like just this today, some website published 5 stories that should be movies. And they mentioned my short story, The Writer, from Out There Screaming, which is Jordan Peele's anthology. Don't sleep on short stories, people. They can
Right.
have wings and fly out there. You don't know where they're going to land. And they get out there much, much faster, and you learn so much faster. So I'm so excited to hear it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
short stories are where you learn your craft.
Okay.
Novels are where you get paid. Scripts
Okay.
are where you get paid really well. So by understanding the syntax of that, and you want to break it up into small enough pieces that you have chance to grow.
Mhm.
That you can teach anybody anything if you break down the pieces to small enough chunks. Be sure they've mastered that to unconscious competence, and then you move on. All the skills you need to write a novel are present in the short story. They're all
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
By writing a short story that's 5 to 20 pages long, you have a small and knowable world. You get to finish the whole thing, put it in a drawer for a month, pick it back up again, and kind of say, "Oh, as if somebody else wrote it." So
Mhm.
you're not afraid of criticizing it. But at the same time, by maintaining gratitude, you're also creating faith. So your
Mhm.
attitude might be, "This sucks. I didn't do this well, but I'll learn. This is terrible. And I didn't realize at the time. That means I have learned greater discernment. That
Mhm.
that if you'll never get perfect, because imagine it's like polishing a big brass ball. And every time you polish it, you increase the magnification with which you examine it. You'll never get to the point where the last little rough edge is filed away. This is why you have to have a standard where you say, "I'm going to submit a story every month," because
Mhm.
otherwise you'll polish it forever
Okay.
and it'll
Yeah.
never get there. The stories are not important. The process by which you create the stories, that's important. See, that's being a writer. You're walking the writer's road. You're working. You're doing a certain number of things. You're reading, you're writing, you're submitting, you're sharing. The road of mastery is you're always learning, you're always doing, you're always sharing. Okay, that's the road of mastery. Just get on that path. Okay, and the individual stories are just like sparks flung out of the fire of creation. That's interesting. That's interesting. But you're not too attached to it. You're
Mhm.
never too attached to it. Be attached to having the greatest amount of integrity in your process. That every day you do as much as possible in your process, and everything else will take care of itself. And part of the process, of course, needs to be about being happy and healthy and
Mhm.
making money. You know, absolutely. That artists have a problem with that.
Mhm.
Artists have a problem with that. But I suggest what I want here is your primary work of art is a life lived in integrity with your soul.
Yes.
Health,
Thank you.
love, money, and time to enjoy them. That's what we're about here.
Lovely. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
And
much.
be sure to join the Life Writing site. It's free, and there are going to be a ton of resources there, and we just want to support you. Okay.
Thank you. I'm already on Circle, so I just have to
Excellent.
post
Great.
something to say
Fantastic.
hello.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
we'll see you
we'll talk
there.
to you later.
Thank you.
All right, Larry. Hello, Larry.
Hi. So this past week, I found myself just really falling into some old habits like sabotage. And I don't know, I'm glad we were talking about gratitude today because I mean, I have a lot of things to be grateful for, even though I still haven't found a job yet, even though it is scary. Like I have these people and I have these things, and I know I'm not powerless. But last week I was definitely like having a pity party.
Okay,
It
so let
was a
me ask you a
struggle.
question.
Uh,
What
yes.
triggered the depression? If do you know what
Um,
triggers that emotional state?
I think just the slog of looking for work and getting rejected and like, come on, this has been how many months now,
You
and
know,
having things on
so
the
let's go through the magic formula, shall we? What
right.
is your map of action, or who is the model that you're following in order to do this? Who are you studying in terms of marketing yourself? Because that's all you're doing is marketing yourself.
Well, I mean, um, I know you and I talked about that, and I've sent things back, a couple things back and forth, and I retooled my resume and how I talked about myself in.
No, no, no. The question I asked you is,
I'm sorry.
are you saying, Steve, you are my model? That would be an answer. Or I
Yeah,
am studying this person. Okay.
I would
Then
say
as
that.
your mentor in this arena,
Uh-huh.
you need to be spending time every day studying experts on selling yourself in the job market. So go to YouTube and literally look up how do I create a resume? How do I master a job interview? How do I do that? You need to be constantly learning that because you don't know well enough yet. Assume that there are only two things here. One is you get better at the thing you do, and the other is you get better at selling the thing you do. So
Right.
if your position is that you think you're already good enough at the job, you just need to find the job, then you need to be focused on marketing yourself. Okay. And somebody in chat, and like I said, and that means every
Mhm.
day for 20 minutes, you should be watching a video or reading something that is specifically about how do you market and sell yourself? How do you do that? Because that's your challenge, unless it's your skills. So I will ask you point blank, are your skills up to snuff?
I would say that my skills are up to snuff.
Okay,
Um,
then it's your marketing.
I've it
Simple.
is my
Yeah. So if this is your concern, if I were you, I'd spend an hour a day studying marketing
okay.
so that I understand what is it that makes someone say yes. And what someone will say yes when they attach more pleasure to doing it than pain. Okay. As soon as they feel like, their money would be better for them in your pocket than theirs, they will buy it. So it can be difficult to market ourselves. It can feel like prostitution. It could feel like, now horrible rejection. But like, look at the life writing 6-step process. The last step of that is repeat this process 100 times. So if your attitude is, I'm going to need to get 10 interviews before I can reasonably think that I could get a job, then you aim at least 30 interviews. Whatever the number is that you think is a reasonable statistical, I think I'm gonna have to do this many, triple it, then get to work. And then you have to ask yourself, how are you going to keep your emotions steady? Well, one of the things you do is you come here on Friday. Because
Yep.
what you will find here is people who believe that success is possible, that love is possible, that health is possible, that we can make money and be in integrity with ourselves, that we can have love and we can have fun and we can be blazingly healthy. So if you can't, if you were to spend an hour a day studying marketing, go to YouTube, find a video on marketing. You're looking up great salespeople, great marketing people. You're saying, how would I apply this to this? How would I apply this to this? You're looking for the principles that you do not currently understand. You look up, Tony Robbins and Brendan Bouchard and Eugene Schwartz and people who are good at marketing. professionals at marketing. They know things you don't know. So you are denying yourself success because for some reason you don't want to learn information. Why would that be? You're a smart guy. You know research. So you tell me why you've never done this.
Why I've never done.
Researched selling yourself.
Oh, I can tell you. So I think there's a lot of like cultural blocks around it. Like, I don't know if you want to call it Midwestern or Scandinavian or whatever, but this whole, not wanting to, what makes you think you're better than everybody else? Don't
Okay,
be
what you
such a
need to
dick.
understand is that I've heard the exact same thing from Asian people. I've heard the exact same thing from Jewish people. In other words, I've heard that thing from people in general. Unless your family is super high achieving and happy, you have absorbed negative attitudes about money. And you are
Yeah.
going to have to look at what are the attitudes I got about money? What are the attitudes that winners have about money? And begin to integrate those attitudes. You ask yourself, is it true? Is it possible to do these things and still be a good human being? Okay. Is it possible to do these things and be in integrity with myself, my family, my community? And the truth is, especially in this time of stress, the world needs leaders. The world needs people who can step out of their shit and go out there and get it done. Your nieces, nephews, family, their roof might fall in. And if you've got financial abundance, you can say, here's a check, because you love them and you want to take care of them. There is no logical reason not to aspire to wealth, as long as what you do with that wealth, if you had it, is in integrity with your soul. It's abundance. It's storing up your nuts for the winter, buddy.
I think that again, that's the big cultural piece of the puzzle in my own life, because I think what was imparted to me is this idea that you can't have money and integrity.
So you
Like
need to
there's a
model
point at which
people who have money
and
and integrity.
and, and I
Study
know
them.
where that comes and I know where that comes from in the lives of like my parents and stuff like that, but I also know that a lot of that is bullshit.
Okay, so
Um
what you need to do is identify the belief you want to change, identify what you want to change it to. Now research, how do I change my beliefs? Now I could give you some examples, but the morning ritual is a perfect example of that. Where you use affirmations. At last, the past is past. It's over with and done. Now it's time to make some cash and really have some fun. While you're marching
I'm
up a
still
hill.
perfecting that morning ritual. Like I'm almost to the chanting on the trail
Yeah.
part.
See, so you want to learn. You want to have 100 techniques for accomplishing anything that's critical to you in your life. That by changing your body, you increase your energy and you understand the work it takes to change. So if you can't see anything else, aim at changing your body. If you're struggling changing your body, you're simply coming in contact with the struggle. And then you get to say, okay, how do I change this? There are countless people who have mastered their bodies. There are countless people who have found deep, lasting love, and there are countless people who have found ways to make money with integrity and have turned around and helped others. If you have a hard time believing that, research. Look into it. Question any negative belief you were given. It's your software. What software do you need to succeed? You need to believe that thriving is not just good, but it's your heritage.
It's necessary.
That it's not just necessary, it is a natural expression of your deep self. And anything that stopped you from believing that you are meant to conquer your kingdom, that does not mean beating up other people. It does not mean being unfair to other people. It actually means being a leader. and being capable of helping other people. If you thought to yourself, in the days to come, there's going to be a lot of stress. I want to be in a position to help 100 people. If you were to accept a responsibility like that, you would no longer be able to live small, would you? Your poor little me bullshit would go right out the window because people need you. Babies will, once you've accepted responsibility of being a leader, babies will die if you do not step up and admit that you are bigger than you've ever been. That your parents and other people who gave you these principles did the best they could. They were giving you the best they had, and standing on their shoulders, it's time for you to do better.
Yep.
Okay? All right. So get
I
to
have
work.
to leave, but I want to say thank you to everyone and
You're very
have a good
welcome.
weekend. And
All right.
I'm
Take
that
care.
bitch.
You are that bitch. Absolutely.
You
So,
are that
Michelle.
bitch.
Hi. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. And it's nice to be back. And I'm so happy to see you all again. It's been almost a year's long road to get to recover to where I'm at right now. I still have another almost 6 months to go, but at least I'm back to the point that I can participate again. So I'm glad to be back.
Good. It's good to see you, sweetheart. What can we do for you?
Nothing. Just wanted to let you know you already have.
Fantastic. But you would like someone to take a look at a book that you're
Yeah,
working on?
I did. I went to your site. It's already posted on there. I think I
Excellent.
mentioned it in
Well, I
chat.
think there's nothing wrong with announcing it to the group, so somebody will,
Okay.
some of the people that are
Um,
here will go over
yeah,
there and take a look.
it's in your on your new board, in your new thing on helping other writers or looking at writing. I think it's called what I'm not sure what it is in your thing, but it's in there. And so
Writers
they can
helping
click.
writers is the space where it is.
Thank you.
So
Yes,
I would
it's in
like you
there.
to, I would like you to make a clear request. What is your request? What is your ask?
I would like people to look at it and see what they think. It's a paper I'm writing on on teaching an AI to be sentient. It's very out there. It's very weird, but it's very true. And it's very entertaining, extremely entertaining. I think everybody will get a lot of fun and laughs out of reading it. But I'd like the comment section's open it, and I would love to get some comments and feedback on
Fine.
it.
That's
Yeah,
just great. I'm sure that somebody's going to
yeah,
look at it for you. But
yeah.
one of the things you need to learn, sweetheart,
Yes,
is ask for what you want
I get it.
and
I
ask
get
for
it.
it clearly. And
I
just
get
kind of
it.
say, this is what I'm putting out
Okay.
there.
Yep.
And the other thing is to offer in return. So it's like, if
Yes.
you will read this for me, I'll be happy to take a look at something you're looking at. That way, you're making an energy
Absolutely.
for energy exchange.
Right. Which is
So,
why I
so add,
posted in your section for you. Yep.
okay.
And I would be happy to look at other people's stuff. I got to tell you, I'm not a very good editor.
Okay,
And
stop,
I'm
stop,
not the
stop, stop,
best
stop,
writer,
stop,
but I
stop.
will look at your
Okay,
stuff
okay,
and
Michelle,
comment.
you
Yes.
notice how you automatically
I know.
went to tearing yourself down. You don't get to do that here.
Okay. Okay.
Here, I want you to love yourself.
Okay.
I want you to understand that I have known you for a long time, and you are a good and decent woman. You're very intelligent.
Almost 50 years now.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I want you to be proud of yourself,
I am.
okay? And because I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you take care. All right. We do not have any emergencies today so far. We're doing okay, unless somebody is hiding. I wonder if there's somebody hiding. Let me just check in with Che. It is,
Hello.
yeah.
Um, Not hiding. I'm all right. I'm doing work. I'm
Okay, so
doing
you're on the
well.
road of trials.
I'm on the road of trials. And also, you
Chop
want to
wood, carry
wonder?
water.
Sometimes I wonder, like each every once in a while, I'm like, wait, am I back at the beginning? Like, am I being called to adventure and turning it down because I'm on a road of trials and I think I'm on a different adventure? So that's something that that comes up for me.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish in your life? And if so, are you on that path? Because there will always be other things calling to you. And you have to be really clear so that every day when somebody offers you another opportunity, you can say, will this help me get to the mountain I'm climbing?
Yeah.
Is this a better weapon? Is this a better tool? And if you say it's a better tool and you switch, and then you look back and you say, you know something, I keep switching. So it's maintained sensory acuity. Start figuring it out. So allow me to ask the question: are you clear on what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah. Well, I'm like, like if this is my clarity's here, it could probably come over here.
Okay,
Like
so
it
let
could
me
get
ask you.
more focused.
Let's find out. Let's find out. In terms of body, what's your goal?
Okay, in terms of body, my goal is to stay exercising 4 to 5 days a week. Like keeping, maybe that's not a goal so much as that is a plan.
That's steady state.
Um,
You've got that. Push yourself. What's the next
yeah.
level?
Okay. The next level is probably more energy to just
Okay.
retain
So
it.
something along the lines of I want to weigh this. I want to run a 10K. I want to be able to deadlift 200 pounds. Something concrete and photographable. What's your goal?
All right. My goal is to lose. No, my goal is to recover a six pack, not a six pack, but
Okay,
to get rid of
great.
this.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So if you could say, if you were on a perfect path, how many weeks would it take to do that?
Um, I don't know actually.
Okay. So you could say in 3 months you're going to take a naked picture of yourself and send us all copies. I don't mean that, but but in a swimsuit.
Yes.
You could do that. Okay. So let's take a look at your emotions. You're in a relationship. You're married, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you have a date night with your wife every week?
We're instituting that.
Okay,
Like we
great,
kind
great.
of like we fell off, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So so
we have a date tonight.
so that's something you could have a goal towards. A weekly date night. Okay, and it's very simple. Okay, and then in terms of money, your art and career, what's your goal?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a tough one, right? Money is always the challenging one. Everyone always says about like trying to unpack the all of the negative things we've learned about money and like
That's
wealth.
right.
Um,
So allow me to ask you a question.
yeah,
In your deepest heart, being
yes.
honest, what is money?
Mm. Being honest, money is just like an energetic, like it's like a crystallized energy or something.
Well, why don't you be honest about what you feel about it?
Okay. And what I feel about it is I feel grody about it. I
Thank you.
have,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so you know that one of the things you need to do is to develop healthier, more productive attitudes toward money because you have a goal of earning X amount this year, 50% more than you did last year. So I don't need to know the numbers. But 50% more is totally doable if you improve by 1% a week. And you can improve faster than that. So you know that one of the things you need to do is every day you need to be working with what are your attitudes about money? Rachel Rogers, let me take real quick here. She has 7 principles, things that you do every day. And I'm going to find what those principles are right here. Millionaire mindset. Okay, so her 7 principles that you do every day. And I would suggest that you get the book We Should All Be Millionaires that she did. She ain't perfect, but boy, is she smart. She's really good. She's really good. Delegate one task to your to-do list. 2, move your body. 3, connect with your squad. You should be talking to somebody every week, preferably every day. Just a text message with a buddy who's willing to work on their money with you. Okay, they're willing to read the book because partnership is critically important. critically, I am so glad that I have Tananarive and we can talk to each other about this, because quite frankly, I'm having a hard time finding people that I can share what I'm doing with. To be totally honest with you, I intimidate people, and I intimidate some of the people I love the most, and it's heartbreaking, So all I can do is, I don't want to slow myself down. I have miles to go before I sleep, but you have to be that bitch without being a bastard about it. That's the way I said it.
Be that
Okay,
bitch
so
without being a bastard.
that's right. Connect with your squad. Yeah, I have grown. If you keep going down any path, you grow. And if you know people who have not grown, you'll frighten them. They'll start feeling like you're an alien because their beliefs that it's not possible to change, you are violating that. And so that makes them look at themselves. So you have to be compassionate. As you grow, you need to become more understanding, more compassionate, more loving, kinder. Okay. Number 4, do one money generating activity every day. Okay. Number 5, think $1,000,000 thoughts. In other words, look into your thought patterns about money. I asked you honestly what you thought money was, and you said some very good things, very spiritual. It's crystallized energy. And that's beautiful, because I would say that's true. Money is simply a sign of how your community values you and whether or not you value yourself. So that, because people will take as much from you as you'll give. At some point you have to say, and now I need mine back. Okay. And so you've established your value. You can prove your value. They know your value, and it would cause them pain to lose you. They will give you money. The only time they won't is if they don't really believe you'd leave. Companies saying, oh, you're going to stick around here for the pizza party. You don't need a $50,000 a year raise. We'll give you a slice of pizza. And because we treat you like your family, we are hooking into the same neurological patterns that will keep you working forever for nothing. Okay. Look at your money every day. Number 6, look at your money every single day. So in other words, just check your bank balance every day. And if it feels good, be grateful. If it feels painful, use that pain to motivate you. And 7, enforce your boundaries. Stop giving your time away for free. Larry Niven told me, you will never run out of opportunities to give your time away for free.
Right.
So I have 2 speeds when it comes to money. Either I give myself away for free, or you're going to pay. You're really going to pay for my time. It's like, absolutely. The way one of my teachers put it, the teachings are free. My time is what it's going to cost you. So over on the Lifewriting site, we put up teachings there, and they're free. It's like, for God's sake, dig in, carry it away, all you want, all the maps you can have. But if you want me to sell you gas for your car, it's going to cost you. Right. If you want me to sell you a car, now you're going to pay more. But if you want me to drive you there, in other words, you want my personal time and attention, you're really going to pay for that. Okay, so that's why we have kind of a graduated thing. It's free, so that anybody who needs this information can be benefited from it. And then we have low-cost ways to engage. But if you want to be part of our class, you could go to www.writerwebinar.com, buy the 3-hour lecture, come to the 2 months of coaching. We're not hiding any of our motivations here. We're being totally clear. One of the reasons we do that is we want you to be clear. We want you to be just as clear about your money and your worth. See, Tananarive and I have to work every day on being sure, are we being good people? Take a look at how much money we earned last year and the year before that. Oh my God. What right do we have to want more? Because we're going to change the world. Because I can afford to spend this 90 minutes with you guys for free, because I've got my money taken care of. Okay. Will I encourage you to invest with me? You know something? Yes. However, the way I look at it is, we're going to give you the information you need for free. If you use it and make money with it, invest some of that money you earned with us. I don't want any of your money unless we have already proven to you that we're for real. And I'm going to try to stick with it. That makes sense to me. It feels clean to me. Okay. So I want you to be that clean about you and your money, you and your body, you and your love, that you have the right to health, you have the right to love and abundance, you have the right to make that money, so that when an old friend calls up and says, oh my God, my car broke down, I don't know what to do, you can say, something, what's your Cash App? I got $1,000. I know you're good for it. Let me just help you out. Benefiting your network is also creating your lifeline and your safety net. So when you look for opportunities to give to the people around you when you're in need, it'll come back to you. And if it doesn't come back directly from them, trust magic. Cast your bread upon the waters.
Right,
Help
exactly.
people as much as possible. It'll come from some other direction. And if not, you were a good person. At the end of your life, you're not taking any of that money with you anyway. So what you're going to have is the memory of who you were. Okay? But meantime, before you die, make that bag. All right, Jay. I'll see you over on Lifewriting, buddy.
Yes.
All right. We've done our time here today, and it flew past. So I would like everybody to unmute yourselves and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
You all.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank
Good
you.
to see you
Thank you
all.
so much.
Hope to see
Have a
you
good
all again.
weekend.
Thank you.
That is
Great
wonderful.
weekend.
And
Bye-bye.
I'd like to
Everybody.
end
Bye,
this
Stella.
as I always do,
Be well.
saying
Bye,
that
Alex.
the divinity within me salutes and acknowledges the divinity within each and every one of you. Namaste. Have a wonderful week. We love you guys.
Namaste.
We truly do. Take care.
Bye.
And go to lifewrite.com. Get on there. We're having fun.